From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Cairns. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of Amazing Ideas at Stunning Digital Marketing. In this podcast, we have Bridget Willard with us in our monthly marketing segment, and we're going to talk about why small businesses need to publish on Google Maps. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today I'm here with my good friend, Miss Bridget Willard. Hey Bridget, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you, Rob?
It's okay. Toronto is, at time of this record, is cold. We just came out of rainy. 3/4 of our snow is gone. You know, spring's coming. Life is good. And you?
That's awesome. Oh, it's about 73.
Yeah.
I live in Corpus Christi by the Gulf of Mexico.
That is true. Thank you for reminding me of such facts. And anyway, today in your marketing segment, we thought we talked about, and I think this is a really good topic, is why your business needs to be on Google Maps. And I want to start it off by saying some businesses more than others. So number one, hospitality, restaurants, hotels, gas stations. They come to mind. There's probably some others, donut shops, things like that. Because what I find is a lot of people search a business on Google. And why do they search business? Who do I call you? And how do I get there in a hurry? So where do you want to go with this?
So it used to be Google My Business. Now it's Google Business Profile, and it's connected with your Maps account. Apple Maps has a similar feature, which if you're a restaurant in one of the aforementioned places and you move, you should probably check that information, because my best friend uses Apple Maps. I use Google Maps. We can't find the German bakery if we follow Apple Maps because they moved.
Yep.
And they didn't change their Apple Maps. So I'm sure, I'm just going to generically say Google because they're the biggest. But if you're one of those places, you definitely, you're really a physical location, not somebody like me who works in their apartment, then you really, 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 really need to make sure it's right also on Apple Maps. But we're just going to talk about Google. So in a couple episodes ago, Todd Jones talked about the NAP information, name, address, telephone number on Google Maps. And this we found so frustrating during COVID. That was 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So small businesses have had a lot of opportunities to really adjust how they do things. I even did a tutorial, I believe, on my YouTube channel on how to make a Google document set to share as a link for your menu on Google Maps. And I know Todd and you talked about that often. That is like a really important thing, because that's another part of it. If you're a restaurant, your menu is super important. For me, I just set it up because, it's Google. If you have your Google Maps, then if you're looking at your screen and somebody looks for me, they're going to see my location there. Now, I did hesitate for a while having it, because I do work out of my apartment and I date. And it just, when you're semi-public person,
Yep.
and a woman, and I'm Gen X, and I feel like I have reservations about that. If you work out of your home, You do have to use your actual address. There was a time, remember that, when you could use mailboxes, etc., or whatever it was called.
You cannot anymore.
You cannot do that. So that was actually a good safety feature for work at home businesses.
Yeah.
But either which way, you want to make sure that you really make sure that that profile is full as possible. But not just that, that you're publishing on it. So that was the angle I was thinking about, because
Yep.
back when before Twitter got purchased and the API got really expensive,
Mhm.
I used a plugin called Revive Social,
Yep.
and I used the pro version, and that would allow you to publish to to Google Maps as well.
Yep.
So there's really easy ways of cycling your content on there.
So
Basically,
can I stop you there for a second?
oh, stop. Yeah, forget it. I don't want to be a monologue. I love the conversation. I'm
You're,
sorry.
you're, you're good. I just wanted to add to that. One of the things I do is every time I put out a podcast, or every time I put out a blog post, or every time I put up a newsletter, believe it or not, I go and share it on my Google business profile, because then when somebody clicks on a map, they see all that content. It's the same thing, however you do it. So when they click on the map, they can say, oh, here's all Rob's content. And all my podcasts go there, and all my changes go there, and all the when I don't do traditional newsletters anymore. I've moved my newsletter to Substack. As you know, I have two of them, one for the podcast and one for the business. The reason they're separate is so if people want one or the other, they can do what they want. But you know, and I post those there too. And people say, why do you go through all that work? First of all, even if I do it manually, it takes me 5 seconds to do it. Like literally, I just take it and dump it and say to learn more, click here and do it. People need to start to keep the content up on Google Maps because it shows what their business is doing.
So they used to have an app called Google My Business, but
Yep.
now that's integrated with the
Well,
Maps program itself. And I had forgotten about this until,
yep.
um, I mean, I reset it up when I moved to Corpus Christi, and then I had it doing that. And then, you know, sometimes as a business owner, you forget. Like, it's just not top of mind. But I had a client call me on Sunday morning, and I was like, 361, who's calling me from Corpus Christi? Well, so I'm like, I better answer it, right? It was for my new client. It's
Yep.
for my new client. He was looking for somebody local who would work on a WordPress website. Now, I went and looked at my Google business profile, and actually, my language on there until this morning was really kind of outdated. And my website really talks more about working with SaaS companies,
Yep.
WordPress plugins, WordPress hosts, data
Yep.
providers, that kind of thing. But for some reason, he saw the pictures of me. Selfies work too, right? My hair is different in all of them. And he just got a feeling
Yep.
that I would be someone good to work with. I have pictures of my office,
Yep.
the inside, you know, and that reminded me, like, I need to go look at there. I need to like update my content. If you get like kind of a brain fart about it, just use ChatGPT. I mean, everybody's using ChatGPT or whatever. I'm just gonna say ChatGPT. You use whatever AI you want. But
Yep.
like, I realize that now that I'm working with a lot of small businesses, my webpage is targeted toward the bigger paying clients, and that's fine. But I just said this morning, I'm like, hey, Chad, because I call him Chad. Hey, Chad, can you take my pricing page and write me a 500 character summary? You can go up to 750, but I didn't want it that long. Five,
It does a really good job of any of those.
well, okay. So the way you hear, we're gonna talk about AI for a second. The way you hear people talk about this stuff is like it's the magic genie, you just like rub the lamp and there's your dinner already made. So I had to like go, no, I don't do that. No, I'm not asking you to sell my service managing Google Business Profile. I
Yep.
want you to sell my services from this website, which I
Yep.
already told you, by the way. Listen when I talk, Chat GPT. And then he was like, and Google Business Services. I'm like, I don't do Google Business Services. I mean, I could, but that's not what I'm doing with my life. And I go, can you just change Google Business Services to social media management? Because for some reason, it's all about this WordPress stuff. But I've been like brainstorming with him, so his memory is like not not always right. And then when I was um, testing my AI prompts from the free Launch with Words pack, I just
Yep.
say, no, talk about my business, not just any business in Corpus Christi. You should be looking at bridgetwillard.com, my website.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, this is still really generic. And I like really massaged it. Like, I know how to tell computers what to do, but like, it's still,
I know.
it says it makes mistakes. So the real key with it is you have to know what you want. You have to know. Now, I did use it to change my podcast transcripts for Launch with Words into this book, Launch with Words.
Yep.
I just gave it the transcript. Some of them is like, no, you need to make that longer. Carol Stevens, one of my best friends. It can't be a blur. And then I went back and I closed it and I went back again and I'm like, can we make this longer? Can you talk more about this part? Like there's work still. It's not magic. You still
No,
have to work with it.
yeah, AI, you can't take the human out of it. It's just a tool, right? So what people need to get off their butt and realize, and knowing this, I was sharing with you before we went to record, I use the AI to generate the transcripts for this show. I've used different flavors. I used for a long time, I used Office 365 to do it. Then I switched to Notebook LM, and now I'm using a combination of Notebook LM and Gemini video to come on how to do that. But the point I'm making is you still need a human to look and say, is this spelled right? Have a quick gander, especially proper names. My name is with a C because of my accent. It always interprets it with a K. I have to go in and fix my own name every time, for example. Um, our mutual friend Warren Lane Nada's name gets butchered by AI all the time, I should tell you.
I know. I
So,
know.
things like that. So you still need you and I in the middle of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't take, but it does take some of the basic legwork out of it. We
But
will
to
admit
me,
that.
I think the best use case for me
Yeah.
is the ADHD autistic factor of the overwhelm of starting something.
Yes. Yep.
I also used it to scan articles I wrote for the mortgage pack that's out now for truth in lending law compliance.
Which just came out, by the way. And if you're in that game, go get it now. Bridget
Yeah,
Willard.
yep.
Oh,
But back to Google Business and posting things. So I have reviews all over the place. I have a lot of, they're called recommendations
yep.
on LinkedIn, but
Yep.
those are reviews. So some of them I've taken little excerpts of and made it to an image for Instagram, a
Yep.
square.
Yep.
And so what I've done is I also put those as photos of my business
Mhm.
on Google Business. So you can do it in a couple of ways. You can either use the Maps app on your phone, or you can go to maps.google.com and then find your business, or business.google.com if you haven't started. And then there's the offers, there's the updates, there's the shop. So for example, you will find my books there because a lot of us are selling products as well as
Services.
you'll find a few of my Launch with Words packs on there, which I made square images of. Today I or yesterday, no, today I put up an image of me holding my Launch with Words book
Yeah, I
with
saw
the
that.
link to the Amazon store. So you could do that. So, in addition to having reviews that are on Google, you can also make images in Canva with reviews you've received elsewhere and make them more visible than even the Google reviews as a photo in your business profile.
Yep, yep. And
With the
and
words in the caption, for sure. You have to have the words. The
and by
internet
the
is blind.
and by the way, while we're talking about this, do yourself one more favor. Take 5 minutes and go to Bing Business Places and set up an account. And I know every small business owner is going to say, but that means I don't have time to maintain one, let alone two. And just set your Bing Business Place account up and say, sync with my Google business profile once a week, and you're done. Once you validate it and you're done. And then what will happen is your Bing profile will sync and you won't have to keep both up to date. So do that because that will also link back. And we know what's going on because of AI in the corporate world. Edge is picking up market share in the browser game, which defaults to Bing search. So keep
I
that in.
know. Warren keeps nagging me about this. Warren Leonida. He keeps
I'm not,
saying, be on Bing.
I'm now nagging you too. So there you go.
But here's the thing. So you can't talk about marketing now. I mean, I used to be really upset about it, and I have lost work. I have legitimately lost work because of AI.
Yep.
But you can't talk about marketing without talking about AI because AI is a search engine. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're doing all your branding efforts, all your marketing efforts, these have to be word based. And I just said it before, and I'll say it again, the internet is blind. It's ones and zeros that read words.
Yes.
You can have all the pictures and the most beautiful website you've ever seen, but if it doesn't have a blog and you're not updating that and you're not putting words out there about you, then people aren't going to be able to find you.
Yep.
And you have to feed the beast.
Yep.
So I have not given up on Launch with Words. I just, had a bad year health wise. So I'm training the machine to know about Launch with Words.
Yep.
I I
And the
am,
Train the
uh,
machine, better the engine.
yeah, whether it's Google or so I'm publishing content on my website. I even had ChatGPT write a deep research article of the pros and cons of using ChatGPT AI versus Launch with Words for blog posts. And then I put that on my website. So you can use the machine to train the machine to see how you are and what you're doing, right? And just as a check this morning, I said, or last night, because I was thinking about this podcast, what are people saying about me online? And all of the sources of what they were Google reviews
Yes.
from my
Of
Google places, right? The Google business profile.
course.
So then I was like, you know what? I forgot. I have 2 years worth of clients I've never asked to make a review. So I emailed them personally all this morning.
Did you get anything back?
I only got one response so far, and she was actually on a plane. But that's the thing, is like we forget that after we've had the relationship with the customer and after we've provided that service, you still have to ask. Not everybody will do the work of
Yep.
reviewing you, but you need that. If people are going to use AI, then they're going to ask ChatGPT if they should work with Bridget Willard.
Of course. Of course.
So I want to know what ChatGPT is saying about me, the same way I'd have Google alerts for my name.
Yep. I agree. You
This is
should,
just,
and by the way, you should have alerts on your name and your website and your podcast and anything else important. And if you're on a board, you should have all the board members on Google Alerts too, because I deal with some political parties and I have Google Alerts on all my board members because I like to know what's going on. I don't like to be caught out in left field, especially with the political climate being the way it is, right?
yeah. So the reason why I keep bringing up Canva, Rob,
Yep.
is because if you're going to make a graphic for Instagram, I mean, everything else you could just type words. But
Yeah, I agree.
Instagram has to have a picture. They're really pretentious that way. So if you're going to make a picture or talk about something, whatever, then, well, first of all, it changed the dimensions. It's like 1080 by 1350.
Yep.
But just go ahead and resize that as a square and then put it on Google. I mean, you already have to be on your phone. Well, you can do it on the computer. Either way, you're already like attach the Google business habit with your Instagram habit. You're
Yep.
going to post on, normally I'm like, don't post everything all at the same time, but it doesn't matter with Google business, okay?
And
People
the
aren't
other,
on there reading a feed, but
and the
just
other,
pair that habit.
yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is when you start doing searches for a business name, usually the Google Maps locations will come up before
That's what
the,
I'm saying.
the
And
website.
it'll take up this whole screen.
So I need to do a shout out to my good friend and client over at Ringleader Jewelers in Pickering, Ontario. Do you know, and I've shared this, if I do a local search, I've outranked Fortune 500 jewelry stores in that
That's
area.
crazy.
And that and
That's awesome.
that's Google My Business or Google Business Profiles, as it's now called, and Google Maps and reviews. That's a big factor in it, impacting all this. And they rank, I think last I looked when I was out at store this week, they're like second or third on the top on first page Google. So this is why I personally, and I'm sorry, Warren, but I'm gonna take a shot here. SEO matters, but this is actually a form of SEO. And these are going to outrank even the SEO on your website. So I think it's even more important than the
Well,
SEO.
that's the whole thing. There's SEO for that actual page, on page,
Yep.
and then there's off page. And off page is everything you do about your business outside, digital or physical. If I spoke at a chamber of commerce, that's off page SEO. If I hand you a business card, that's off page SEO.
It's
I am
podcast.
deciding how people think about me. If I post on Facebook, Instagram, Google Business, that's off page SEO. So,
Yep.
like, when people say they do SEO, yeah, what does that mean? You know,
No,
what are you saying? You're saying that you're doing best practices with blogging, heading structure, site structure,
I
technical
know.
things, and doing regular updates to feed the machine so that you are relevant.
Yep.
And that is why I cannot believe how many websites I see on Instagram for contractors, and just because that's what I'm thinking about lately, that do not launch with a blog
I
because
agree.
it's the website agency that's saying, we just launched this website. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to go check it out. No blog? Well, the client couldn't afford it. What
Sometimes,
are you
but
talking about? You need at least 3 blog posts. Hire a writer. Web designers, hire a writer. There's plenty of us around.
oh, I agree.
Or at least use ChatGPT to do something.
Yep. Yep. Is there anything else you want to add about Google Maps and Google Business Page profiles and all that good stuff?
Check if you don't remember the last time you saw your listing, spend 20 minutes instead of watching TV and go check it out. Fix all the things. Make sure your hours are correct. If you have a booking calendar, which I do for paid consultations, make sure that link works.
Correct.
Test everything as if you gave it to your mom and she doesn't know who you are. And
Yep.
then look at the words you wrote on there and ask yourself if they align with the services that you still offer, because we sometimes pivot, right? Maybe
Yep.
you're only building websites for dental companies now. You know, you never know. And then when you post on Instagram a graphic, go ahead and post it on Google Business too. Just get it done.
And if anybody wants to buy Lunch with Words or Bridget's latest book or latest pack, go to bridgetwillard.com because I will tell you, I have your latest book, your summary coming in from that great company today, and that will be next on my reading list. So
Yeah,
We'll
it
get,
has like actionable tips, super actionable tips. You can listen to the podcast for free. You're going to get the same information.
yeah, I like
But
to read.
but why did I publish a book?
Yeah.
Off-page SEO. Who
Mm.
doesn't love a link from Amazon? That's why I started doing all my books.
And by the way, I was going to share this
That's
with you.
another great topic,
I was
actually.
going to share this with you privately, but one of the projects I'm working on is taking all 500 podcast episodes and building them into some ebooks. So there you
I
go.
love that. I love
Using
that.
using the same technique, Google Gemini. So go check Bridget out. Make sure you tune in next month for more tips. And Bridget, thanks so much. And
Thanks for
have a,
having me.
always a pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye. This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. Very special thank you to Bridget Willard for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.